Kyle. Here. Larry.
Here.
Scott. Here. Mark.
Here.
Brian. Here. Danielle. Jeremy. Ray. Here. Jim. Here. We have a quorum.
All right, pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I have proof of publication in the daily record right here. Visitor correspondence.
Anyone desiring to speak on any item or issue not on the agenda or any item on the agenda that does not include a public hearing may do so, but shall be limited to 3 minutes. Persons should identify themselves by name and address. Person speaking should not expect the planning commission to engage in back and forth dialogue regarding their comments. Unless an agenda item includes a public hearing, no person may speak during the business portion of the meeting, provided, however, persons speaking during a public hearing are limited to between 5 and 20 minutes. Public is a copy of the Open Meetings Act is located on the north wall of council chamber, and one copy of all reproducible written material to be discussed at this meeting is available for examination or copying.
All right, we have anybody from the audience who wants to speak? If so, you have to approach the podium and your name and address. And don't rush. All right, good. We'll move on. Approval of the agenda. Need a motion and a second.
Make a motion.
Kyle? Second.
I'll second.
Brian? Consent agenda is made up of the July 21st planning board meetings. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same. Carried. Public hearing, I'll open the public hearing.
Larry, who made the motion for the consent? Kyle.
Brian.
And Brian.
Okay, 8A is Howard. Tricia?
You guys need to speak up, because we can't hear nothing back here.
Howard Tricia, Carol A. Wiggins, Billy Hirschman Homes LLC, and Bo Brayton, Giving Ghost LLC, consideration approval of application for change of zoning from C1 to C2. I'll open the public hearing. Public comments. Great.
Is there an address for that?
I'll go ahead and get this started for the city. It's Great Prairie City Engineer. Basically, item A and item B are two items that are next to each other. So they're basically very similar, just different property owners, so they'd be acted upon separately. Basically, though, this change on both of these is from C1 to C2. This is a topic that changes from C1 general commercial to C2 downtown commercial. It was an idea or part of the 2018 comprehensive plan that the city had done back then to look at considering expanding the downtown commercial district across the railroad tracks into that Spruce Street area generally towards Casey's or 3rd Street. So that's basically what the request is for both of these two things. There is minor differences between C1 and C2 on the land use matrix that's included in the zoning ordinance. I didn't pull any specifics on that, but there are certain uses that are allowed or not allowed in those two districts. So just to be mindful of that, more so that you can think of downtown commercials more retail or restaurant focused versus general commercial, maybe more so like a trades or service focused. So the same thing though, between the commercial districts, the design standards, commercial design standards apply to both of those districts. So that would not change any of that. There are land use parameters that do change on impervious or setbacks or building coverage. All those parameters are slightly different between the two districts. So again, those are just some of these differences that I was just referencing between the two districts. The other item that does change is the parking requirements or the off-street parking requirements. Again, in the downtown district, if you can think about Spruce Street here, it's just all combined parking, so there is not a regulatory set aside off-street parking for the C2 district compared to the C1 district, so. I don't, if you guys have any questions, I just want to kind of give you a brief overview of what the request is here tonight.
Greg, didn't we have parallel parking before? Way back when Ford Cafe was there?
When it was a case with,
No, when the old Casey's was a restaurant.
I don't
I thought
remember.
we had parking like that back then.
Yeah, so it'd be a topic that we look at for either Richmond Road potentially as a potential project for the city, or Spruce Street from Old Highway 275 up to Third Street to convert that to allow more on-street parking in those two areas.
Any questions for Greg? Thanks, Greg. Would any of these folks like to speak or interested here?
Yeah, thank you. Tim Lowndes, 841 Freedom Ridge Road, UTAN. And so I want to thank you for taking a look at this. We are requesting that these 5 properties be rezoned to downtown commercial. And for several reasons, this helps bring some of these properties probably into a better compliance with the zoning requirements. And for us, it facilitates our development of what we're trying to do on the corner there at 110 Reichmuth. We're hoping to open Sevens Bar and Grill. Greg already talked a lot about the comprehensive development plan, so I had some notes on that, but I don't need to really talk about that. But it is mentioned in at least 3 different places in that last plan that, you know, the ultimate goal was to take downtown commercial across the railroad tracks too. So it's really, we're just trying to say, hey, let's implement what Valley Arc established in its most recent plan. So I gave you guys a couple of handouts up there, or my wife did, not me. And the first one there is some visual concepts. And I apologize for the artificial intelligence aspect of it. But it is our kind of our vision of how we envision this Sevens Bar and Grill to be. And for us, our vision is that it's going to be much more than just a place to eat. Our goal is to create a gathering place for our community, a place where families can come after youth sports, friends can meet around fireplaces, couples can enjoy a glass of wine, grandparents can bring their grandchildren for ice cream, and neighbors can just come and hang out. We hope this place becomes a place that people in the community are proud of, and a place that they return for a long time to come, and we hope we're there for a real long time. As far as this rezoning goes, what this allows us to do is meet our parking requirements, which is kind of how I started talking about this with Greg and Mike a while back. Without the rezoning, we think we could maybe still meet those requirements, but it would require us to basically remove all that pretty landscaping that's out there. And my wife says, no way. She goes, that's why we bought the place. And so we wanted to keep all of that and not mess with it. The comprehensive plan also emphasizes the importance of landscaping to the community character. And so we want to do everything we can to have that happen. Also, just want to recognize that if we do get this open, there obviously would be a sales tax increase and keynote revenue that would come into the community. We also look at this as kind of a gateway between the new ballpark and trying to bring people into the downtown area. I think if we got that there, it's just a logical extension of this beautiful downtown area, and it's kind of the start of maybe some future development. And having it be downtown commercial, it makes it a lot easier for that future development also. So those are the reasons I have. I also gave you a kind of parking, a potential parking diagram, and this is by no means, this isn't your civil engineer doing this or anything. This is my architect, Travis, with GRB Architecture did this, and it's just to give you an idea of what the parking could look like if we go to that diagonal parking. So with that, I can answer any questions you might have for me.
What's your timeframe, Tim?
Well, it's not really a secret. We're really still working with Casey's to try to get, they have a deed restriction on the building that lasts a couple of years still. So
Oh, really?
we're working to try to get them, we're negotiating with them, and we have kind of a verbal agreement, but we're trying to get that on paper and get it finalized. If that happens, our time frame is probably 6 months.
Okay. Any questions for Tim?
Are you gonna have any parking in front of your business, or is that gonna be outdoor seating?
Oh, no, definitely, we definitely will have parking in there. And I have a different diagram that shows what we'll have on site. But if you do look at our building and you look at the left side of it, our plan is to cover that whole left side. So it's about 60 foot long by 24 foot wide. And we hope to have an outdoor dining area there. Also in front of the place, as you remember, this was a landscape design company, and they did a lot of great landscaping. And a couple of the cool features are the fire pits out front. So we're hoping that it'll be a place where people like to gather. We're going to have a couple of serving windows where we can serve people from the bar right out onto the patio, and serve people from the ice cream stand right out to the patio. We do like the fact that it's completely self-contained with that nice fence they put all the way around it also. So,
Any other questions for Tim? All right, any public comment on this item? Come on up, Matt. Oh, yeah, come up.
I will.
Thanks, Tim.
Hi, I'm Sheila Ike, Elkhorn Events. I just want to know if we have a plan that was maybe put in stone. We've all received several plans of the new parking for Spruce Street and Reichman, and none of them seem to match. They're all different. So I was wondering if we could get clarification on that.
Greg?
That would be the city's engineers.
Okay, so,
This is the first step in the process.
okay, so we may approve it without that clarification is what you're saying. Okay, and then is the plan, I've been told, and in the letters I received as a neighbor to this zoning change, was that it would not continue down Spruce Street past the alley, any of the rezoning. Will the parking changes continue down Spruce Street past the alleyway? Because you guys have made several comments about it going all the way to 3rd Street, so that's why I asked.
This is the first time I've seen this.
And I don't think any of us have seen that. What was attached to the letter that went out to anyone within the 300 feet did not have that. It had a completely different drawing that did not have any parking on it at all.
Again, this isn't official.
Mhm.
This is just their impression of what it might look like.
Do we have an official one yet?
I just don't know.
The city will have to go through all the steps to engineer traffic.
Scotty?
To have parallel parking along Richmond Road for a long ways could be a problem just because of the amount of trucks and traffic that go up and down that street. But once Casey's, the other Casey's is open, I see that traffic slowing down a little bit, but probably not that much because that's our main artery running through. So, yeah, the city's gonna have to do some pretty diligent work to see what they can do to accommodate a bunch of cars.
I think that was also some of our concerns over the business owners that are on the backside of that, is trucks getting in and out for deliveries. We've been there a long time, have never had an issue. But with that being said, I have one more clarification I was hoping for. The way I read this is any person within 300 feet or business owner, property owner, is to be notified of this, and several had reached out to me. What's going on? I never got notice of this, so I did give them a copy of the one I received at home. But is that correct, that anyone within 300 feet of any of the rezoning?
Mike?
Was to receive a letter, yes, indicating that this meeting is occurring tonight.
Okay, because if you measure, there are several people that are on the east side of Spruce Street that are 300 feet that didn't receive letters. And there's, I think, 2 on the other side, the west side. So, I mean, we need to give them, I did give them, if they came to me, I gave them a copy, but it's something that I think we need to maybe be a little more thorough on. And then there were several addresses listed that were not legal addresses. They were, I went and looked, I went to the county assessor site, they were not addresses that were invalid on the original paperwork. So I don't know if we want to look into that, maybe it was just a typo.
I'll ask Jonathan to weigh in on it, because he kind of manages that part of it.
So we have received from Mr. and Mrs. Lowndes, and we tallied up all the addresses with regard to the 300 feet. And we executed what we received and passed out what we have received. To speak to what was basically passed out with the new parking, we did not receive that. That was just passed out like right now before the meeting had commenced. So first piece, we sent out letters based on what was given to us with the addresses from the company. And second, we didn't get that until tonight.
So can we expect that any of us that are within the 300 feet to receive some kind of documentation of the changes, just so we can prepare for them and know what's coming our way?
Yes, but that would have to go to Mr. and Mrs. Lowndes giving us the correct addresses. That's not what we disseminate the information based upon what we received. And if we have not received those addresses, then we don't know who we.
So it's a
I think
type,
That's not where we stop.
I think I'm more concerned about like, what is the actual plan, you know, for parking and so forth? When can we, as business owners and homeowners, expect that?
So you're concerned about the parking layout?
Yeah.
I think what we'll do is we'll lay out a plan. What Mr. Lowndes gave tonight was a sketch that he put together, but the city hasn't put one together yet. I mean, we've looked at it, we considered it, we haven't really got something down on paper yet. And when we do, we'll invite you to come in and take a look at it,
Wonderful.
okay?
That's important. Thank you.
What about notifying the people that they're talking about? In other words, it looks like you've got the cart way before the horse on this one, and
In terms of what?
opportunities, there's opportunities for some major mistakes, and I'm just wondering, how are we gonna prevent that without rushing into this informally? Because that's the way it looks right now.
Well, what mistake do you think we could be making?
What we're talking about doing is laying out a parking plan for Richmond and for Spruce Street. That will be done, you know, with geometrics and everything to make sure that trucks and everything can move around and that there's access to the driveways and things. I mean, this is something that we do all the time.
And a notification of the people?
A notification of people, I don't know how that became a problem.
I can add to that. Should I come up there?
Yeah.
So Midwest Title, they did the title search and they gave me pre-prepared labels for everybody that was in 300 feet of every one of these lots. I took those and I did my own graph and verified that they were correct. And I verified on the assessor site that every address that was on there was what was on the assessor site.
So you're confident we did notify?
I'm confident we did.
Took every measure to make sure that you did.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I verified what the title company gave me.
Tim, what is your actual address, if I may ask, of the building?
110. West Wrighton.
Okay, and what, 104 West Wrighton?
The applicant has. Through the time. We don't think we get it right.
I got city been right.
Yeah.
This is another one. It's your address and send you a letter.
Because it was hard to follow all that as far as where we were at and where, make sure that we didn't make any mistakes.
I understand.
Because of that, that's where I raised my objection, because I thought there's a lot to this, and I just want to make sure that it's right. Not going too fast just to get it done.
Well, I can guarantee you the parking layout will be right, and it'll be something that we can work out with the local property owners. That I'm sure. I don't know about the notification. That's something that we rely on the applicant to put out, and we don't verify those addresses as a city. That's something that's a responsibility of the applicant.
So the final verification of the parking plan is the city?
Yes. Yes, it
And then
is.
the city will
council.
get it out.
Correct, yes.
All right, it's on the city.
Any other public comment? Someone else want to add something? Go ahead.
Yeah, Mike, I've got a question, a couple of things. One, just to clarify, this public hearing is for the change of zoning only tonight.
Correct, that's right.
The parking layout will be an item to be determined later.
That's
It's not
correct.
contingent upon this vote regarding changing of the zoning.
That's correct.
So I want to make that clear. Second, I noticed Greg had indicated that a traffic study would need to be completed. And it seems like within that traffic study, is that right on this one? Okay, there was not, that was, okay. I've just got another comment with regard to mobility. Right now, there's a sidewalk along the east side of Spruce Street, south of Reichman. I'd like to, see that, it extends across Reichman, but then it needs to extend to the west. To make sure that we've got the right pedestrian accommodation so people can get from downtown out to the south.
Correct. I agree. And the sidewalk that's there needs a little work,
Yeah,
to say the least.
I'm sure the railroad would be happy to fix it up.
They won't even mow it.
Thanks.
Yes.
Thanks, Mike.
Yep.
Anyone else? Okay, I'll close the public hearing. Any other discussion from the board? If not, I'd ask for a vote, or I'm sorry, a motion.
I would make a motion to approve rezoning.
I'll second it. Any other discussion on this item?
Greg and you, Greg?
That was Brian and Greg.
Brian.
Right.
Or Brian.
Brian and
Sorry,
Larry.
John. All right, voice vote, John?
Kyle,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Danielle, Jeremy, Greg,
Yes.
Jim.
Yes.
Motion carried. Again, this is a recommendation from the planning board to the city council. City council has the final say on this item. All right, second item is Tim Flowers again, TJ Holding, consideration approval, application for change of zoning, C1, C2 for the purpose of rezoning the property for a bar and grill. I'll open the public hearing. Anybody have, this is the same thing over again. If nobody has that, I'll close the public hearing. Any discussion? They're gonna have hot beef, they told me.
When you foresee a liquor license, is that the problem with Casey's?
No, that's just, as soon as we get,
The okay,
as soon as we get the okay, we'll start the process to get the liquor license going.
also, hours? Is it the type of, restaurant bar that'll be open until 1, 2, midnight?
We haven't really determined that yet. Could be, but I mean, we're not gonna have music past, whatever time that we're told to have it shut down if we have live music under the patio. And, I had no desire to be there until 1 o'clock in the morning, myself, and my wife doesn't either, so I've been told that we're still discussing it, but we haven't. It'll be tamed.
Were you ever across the street downtown here, when they had the little outside venue next to that bar?
It's funny you bring that up, because that's really kind of a big part of our vision for this is, yeah, we met a lot of our friends and stuff here that we're currently still really good friends with, hanging out there at Simpsons Downs on Friday nights. So that's kind of our vision, and that's kind of the kind of music we're talking about. We're not talking about heavy metal or anything loud, headbanging or anything like that. So yeah, no tame.
I'm a big Eagles fan myself.
That would fit. That would fit.
Any other discussion from the panel? If not, I ask for a motion.
Motion to approve.
So moved. Greg, second.
I'll second, Kyle.
You get that, John?
Sure.
Voice vote?
Kyle,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Danielle, Jeremy, Greg.
Yes.
Jim.
Yes.
Motion carried. Just to be clear, Greg, the city council, or you will recommend a street plan, parking plan, and now the right to city council. You won't come back here.
No.
Okay, so the right to, so whenever that comes about, I'm sure that'll be on Facebook or something, or be drawings or something.
Yes.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right, the next item is 8C, Breakwater LLC, consideration approval for application for conditional use permit for the purpose of allowing construction of an office building, warehousing, fleet maintenance, outdoor material storage, concrete, asphalt, soil recycling, and tree mulch processing. I'll open the public hearing. Dan, you want to start?
Good afternoon. I'm Matt Bevington, CEO and owner of Valley Corporation, TJ Cable, and Underground Services and Breakwater LLC. Our business address is 28001 Ida Circle. Valley has been our corporate home for the past 50 years, and we're here today to present an exciting new project. We've outgrown our current location at 28001 Ida Circle and are proposing to relocate our business to a new location at 252nd Potter Street. This new site will allow us to reimagine our operational layout into one cohesive development that will complement the surrounding area while allowing us to provide additional services to the community. The project will include a new office building, fleet maintenance facility, warehouse space, construction equipment and material storage, concrete, asphalt, and soil recycling, tree grinding and mulching, and a new retail landscape product yard offering decorative stone, mulch, and aggregates. We believe this location is a good fit as it provides great existing natural buffers to the south and close access to Highway 275. The project will provide several short and long-term economic benefits to the city and county, including the following: retail sales of $2 to $3 million annually, generating over $150,000 in tax revenue. Project construction costs of over $10 million, which the materials will be taxed, generating $130,000 in sales tax revenue. Estimated new full-time construction jobs for the duration of the build is estimated to be at over 30, with those trades spending time and money in our community. Retention of 50 full-time jobs and creation of another 50 full-time jobs once completed. These are high-paying jobs, and those professionals will also be spending money locally. In addition, we are talking about retention of a hometown legacy company that employs over 300 in Douglas County. Another economic impact will be through the increase of property tax. The land is currently taxed at $400,000, and the estimated completed assessed value will be over $10 million, providing for over $140,000 in tax revenue, with $58,000 going to DC West alone. We are also taxed annually on our business personal property, which includes our substantial fleet of construction equipment, for an annual amount of $230,000, of which $75,000 goes directly to DC West. The reality here today is we are going to relocate to a larger facility somewhere. We prefer that to be in the Valley community where we were founded, so we can continue to economically benefit the community rather than moving over $600,000 of annual tax revenue outside of it. I understand that there's been a flyer handed out in opposition to this project that is unfortunately full of disinformation and does not reflect the true and factual nature of the application before you today. I'm unaware of the authors. They have not reached out to me directly, but we have taken the time to meet with the adjacent landowners that expressed interest in doing so. We believe we can build this project in a way that coexists with the existing adjacent property owners' uses and future developments in the area. Specifically, we are providing for substantial landscape buffers, moved our more intense operations to the core of the project, are providing controls for dust and noise mitigation, and constructing road improvements as required adjacent to the property. I thank you all for your time today, and would like the opportunity for my team and I to address any questions or concerns the Planning Commission or public may have.
Can we get a copy of those numbers?
Sure.
Or if you give them to John there, he can include them in our meetings. And
Yep.
Matt, what's your time frame? Start to finish on this? I mean,
So-
how fast are you gonna build and all that?
Yeah, so the anticipated timeframe, we're getting a little bit late in the year for grading permit, but we may be able to start grading late fall if we can get everything done that way. I would anticipate the first thing that really needs to happen for us is our office facilities. We've completely outgrown those, so that's where our priority is. We would expect construction of those office facilities to start, I would say in late fall of 27, so that would be next year. Once we got those up and going, we'd start with our fleet maintenance facility and some warehousing. And then probably the last things that would be added to the site would be our retail location for the landscaping products and our concrete and asphalt soil recycling and the tree mulching.
And that's new, tree mulching is new?
Yes, that's correct.
Will be new?
Yes.
And that's anybody who's got tree problems here can bring it out with storms?
Well, we gotta work through the details on how that's gonna work, but we will be taking those products.
Anybody else have questions, Matt? Okay, anybody for the.
All right, thank you.
I'd ask you to come up here and name and address. And if someone has said something, so you don't repeat the same thing. Nice. One at a time, please.
Jim Sabota, 25850 State Street. I am a longtime member of the Valley Fire Department, currently a board member. And I think it's great that they want to expand and keep this in the community. But I just think that's a horrible location with all of the growth that's around that area right now, with the ballpark, all of the building that's going up by the Loves. And then there's apparently on the horizon some 380 some homes on the other side of 252nd. That traffic that's generated from the new plant, I think, is going to conflict with a lot of the other traffic that goes up and down 252nd Street. And I just think there's a lot better locations, maybe north down 252nd Street or other areas. But I just think this is a terrible spot to put something like that when there is so much growth all the way around it. You're going to put a big construction place with a lot of trucks coming in and out all the time in a very congested area that's getting more and more congested by the month. So that's my opinion.
Thanks, Jim.
My name is Laura Troy. I live at 25302 State Street. I'm guessing less than a mile away from this proposed property. I'm asking you to oppose the rezoning and keep this property from being converted to industrial use. I'm going to just say +1 to everything that Jim Swoboda just said. For my family, this isn't just an abstract discussion, it would be in our backyard. My first concern is air quality. Any concrete batching and the handling of cement, sand, and aggregate generate particulate matter and dust. And I'm not sure how these are going to be regulated at these facilities or what the air pollution controls for this concrete production operations come into place. It's emotional for me because my child sitting over there has very severe asthma, was born prematurely, and we already have hospital visits. I can't imagine what this added extra pollution in the air will do to him. When you're deciding where industrial uses belong, I believe that the health of the families who already live nearby should carry significant weight. There's also a lot of animals and livestock around this surrounding property. You can't just bring them indoors or do different things, and the noises that it might impact them from an industrial operation. My second concern is the fundamental change in land use. We chose to live here because of the rural and agricultural character of the area. Putting a concrete manufacturing operation next to existing homes and the addition of even more homes changes that character permanently and encourages additional industrial traffic. My third concern is that everything that comes from the operation, traffic, noise, outdoor material handling, dust, lighting, and hours of operation, don't stop at the property line. Before approving a rezoning of this magnitude, I would ask the commission to require clear answers. What are the projected emissions? What dust control equipment will be required, and how will compliance be monitored? What is our air quality modeling that's been done specifically for the surrounding residents and the new areas? What are the proposed operating hours and expected number of trips per day? What protections will exist for stormwater and runoff? And most importantly, why is an industrial concrete operation an appropriate use less than half a mile from existing family homes and the addition of several more? Once agricultural or residential adjacent land is rezoned for heavy industrial use, the community has to live with the consequences long after tonight's meeting. My family's already here. My child is here. Our homes and families are here. I'm just asking you to protect the people who already call this area home and vote no on this rezoning.
Thank you.
My name is Lisa Leonard. I've been in this community, I'm 10650 North, 246 Plaza. I've been in this community for my whole life. I know the Bevingtons. I went to school with them. I'd like to know what will happen to the property that they already have. What is the plans for that property? You know, are we going to turn that into a resort or, you know? Yeah, I'm just saying.
No consideration of this board.
Okay, anyway. There is other industrial areas that are for sale along by Waterloo.
Wait,
I mean-
I want to make a point here.
Sure.
This is not industrial. It's commercial.
Oh, this is,
If it was an industrial, it'd have to be rezoned.
oh, got it.
It's just a matter of point.
This is just commercial.
It's just.
Wow. Okay,
What Matt's doing, the company's doing there is not considered industrial
I
in
didn't,
our regulations.
oh, wow. Did not realize that. What is the regulations for industrial? I mean,
Well, Belmont, 3M manufacturing.
so,
And we don't have.
so
any-
those aren't considered manufacturing. Those are just,
That's why this is a conditional use permit,
wow,
where the city gets to decide what's in the conditional use permit.
okay. Well, I've just, like Laura said,
No, it's fine, I just want to point that out.
Sure, that's fine. Well, that we just, we're families here, we just, the dust, yeah, I'm concerned about the dust, I'm concerned about the traffic. Also, next door to them is, what I understand is Stan Walker's property is gonna be for the guys wanting to do maybe Christmas Village there. That's not very far from Potter Street. So that's, you got people out there shopping and doing all their Christmas stuff. That's not gonna be very convenient for them either. And then the soccer fields are just down the way, and all them kids out there running around, playing soccer, that they'd be choking up some good dust too. So just.
Thank you.
Yep.
Matt, do you want to address some of those items, the dust?
Sure.
I know where you're at now with the city, has never had any complaints. Or nor is ours, so.
Well, it's not in the backyard.
Yeah, so I appreciate everybody's comments today. So yeah, just a couple of points that I want to make regarding the dust and the noise. You know, I would look back at our history, you know, at our existing site first and look at how we've operated in this community for over the last 30 years. We don't have a history of complaints. I also want to note that, you know, in the community, there's 3 other concrete recycling operations that take place. People aren't even aware of them. So Menards Manufacturing, they recycle their concrete on site. We've also got American Concrete Products who recycles their concrete on site, and Certified Ready Mix who does the same. So this isn't a unique thing. This is something that's been going on in the area for a long time. You know, we are committed to continually providing compliance with all the applicable legal requirements and permitting conditions. You know, we've proven that in the past, and we're going to continue that same level of commitment moving forward. Primarily, our dust control is going to be taken care of with water spray at our crushing locations, and then on the site through water trucks to keep the dust down for the trucks driving through the site. There also seems to be, you know, reference to concrete manufacturing. That's not what we're proposing here. We're not proposing a concrete batch plant. We're not proposing to make concrete products. You know, we're talking about our existing recycling operation getting moved over. So I think that kind of, you know, covers those things. You know, during this process, we exhaustively looked at several different options. The easiest way would have been to have gone someplace that was more heavy use in the future land use, and none of those places were for sale or weren't interested in selling. So that's, you know, we really spent a lot of time trying to find, you know, what we felt was going to be a good fit, and that's where we landed on this site.
Man, who are you regulated by?
The Nebraska Department of Environment and Energy. It used to be the Nebraska Department of Environment or Quality. We are considered a low emitter status. Our emissions are very, very low. So, you know, we're not a high emitter, and we don't have a history of issues in the community.
All right, thanks, man.
Yep.
Hello, I'm Chad Camenzind, 28505 State Street. I'm also here representing my father, Larry Camenzind, that owns land both to the east and west of the proposed site. A couple things that I'd like to bring up is everybody keeps talking about dust. We're not worried about dust, it's silica. Their family's been in the business their whole lives. Silica parts per million in the construction industry is a problem. That's a point of emphasis nowadays, is cancer causing. So I don't think we should just call it dust. There's a bigger concern there. With that, being in I'll +1 to everybody else's comments with the area, traffic, and development. I can appreciate Matt's numbers that he gave you for economic growth and tax dollars, but what's going on in that area out there right now? What about the long game? Anybody have any numbers with what's coming into town with economic growth in businesses and commercial properties that are coming in with business and warehouses? And then we're going to throw a recycling plant in there. What do you think that's going to do to the long-term gains of that area? Also, growing up on that road, I've driven farm equipment, pulled machinery down that 252nd my whole life. Take a look at the shoulders when you drive down it. There are no shoulders. You can't get over. There's not room for the truck traffic. It's also a bicycle highway for the people in town that ride their bikes up and down the highways through Elk City. That's a prominent route for people driving. A man lost his life up there on across from Beaver Creek Farms not that long ago. There's a bicycle chained to the stop sign. So these are things that should be considered. My point to this is there's a lot of good things going on outside of town right now with development. And this town, that area has not changed my whole life until the last 5 years. throw that in there, that proposed business, see what you get coming down the road. That's all I got.
Thanks, Andrew. Does anybody else say anything that hasn't been already talked about?
All right, how's it going? My name is Kyle Kasperbauer. I'm at 26002 State Street. First of all, I appreciate entrepreneurship. I love the fact that he's bringing some economic into the city, but I have a business in Gretna, Nebraska, and we neighbor a concrete recycling company. And yes, there's mandates, there's requirements to have water spraying onto piles. I think I've called the city over 20 times this year just to remind the city, hey, you guys need to continue to do this because the dust and the silica that's cancerous, it continues to just flow over to our business. We're about probably 200 yards away. And so I've actually experienced being next to a company that recycles only, doesn't manufacture, just recycles. Also, we are a recent new build in this environment, in this community. My children go to school and we love this city and we love this town. I'm a mile away from where this is going to be, and it's growing. EAA is down there with new soccer fields. The Christmas land that was crazy busy, a lot of traffic, and so there's already going to be those narrow roads, a lot of traffic, right? I mean, you guys have already heard that, but that was one of the reasons that we moved out here too. Is it would have possibly changed things, or at least had us consider differently in that area with a concrete recycling plant. And in addition, on State Street alone, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4 new build residentials, brand new build residentials. So it's going to be improving property value, increasing that way as well. This is something that I oppose. I don't oppose entrepreneurship. I respect everything that he's talked about. I understand that. That makes sense from that standpoint, but from the standpoint of what could be moving in from the gentleman that just spoke before me, he has a great point. There's a lot of things that are going to be coming. It's just a matter of what are those things going to be and which direction does this community want to go with what's going on. Thank you.
Again, hopefully something new.
It is. So my name's Joe Flaxbeer, and I'm a civil engineer with Lamprey Nearson. My office address is 14710 West Dodge Road. My company is actually working with Matt and his company on the plat, and we've been working with them through these items. So I know sitting here taking notes about some of the community concerns, I told Matt I'd be happy to address some of the items about traffic and the road improvements in that area, because I've heard it from most of the people speaking. So we have met as a project team with City of Valley officials as well as Douglas County Engineering. If this preliminary plat and conditional use permit were to proceed, and then we go forward with the final plat, a traffic impact study, a traffic impact analysis is a requirement for the City of Valley subdivision and regulations. Douglas County Engineer's Office also requires that. And we've already had a conversation with them about required roadway improvements to 252nd Street, likely expanding out to a 3-lane section, currently a 2-lane section there. And then Potter Street, Douglas County Engineers have told us that's the one categorically unimproved road in Douglas County. So that would also be a requirement to make roadway improvements to Potter. So both of those streets would be understanding that the condition today is narrow. I heard the concerns about the shoulder. Those things would be addressed for the community as part of this project. That's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chuck Phillips, 8445 North 252nd Street. We moved out here 18 years ago for a neighborhood, okay? But it doesn't make no sense to all those people from King Lake and all those people down on the north side down there. We love it down there. It's quiet. The speed limit is 50 miles an hour. Car's gonna pull out. Chuck's gonna pull out and we're gonna have to stop. They gotta get up to 50 miles an hour. Like you said, main bicycle lane, all the way down. You let the tubers go, that's enough, enough people. We just want our quiet neighborhood. That's all we want. And that's all I gotta say, because I don't like it.
Anyone else?
Ryan Planbeck, 13515 North 240th Valley. There's, agree with everything that's been said here. Just a few thoughts I have is, one, what is kind of studies has been done, environmental impact with the floodplain, because that is a floodplain, it floods frequently. Want to know what the effects of that would be should something like that happen, all the runoff that would happen. Not to mention contamination of shallow wells because of that heavy runoff that happens with these type of plants. Also, who oversees some of these regulations? I understand, I think I read somewhere that these piles could be up to 45 feet, which is almost 5 stories. So I don't know how much of a obstruction those tree lines are going to cause when something that is that tall. And then finally, some of the two things, what kind of traffic study is going to be done or has been done? Are those being done at normal times, not the middle of the winter where there's nothing at that sports complex or any heavy agricultural equipment going up and down those roads? So I'd ask for that to be kind of consideration. And then what kind of noise regulations are being held for this and what's going on after hours as far as generators, heavy equipment and stuff like that continue to run after the normal operating hours of this plant. So needless to say, for those reasons and everything else that's been shared today, I'm against this. Thank you for your time.
My name is Debbie Planbeck. I live at 13515 North 240th Street. We are farmers who have lived out here since 1972, my husband his whole life. We've worked hard through the years to buy farmland. Our farm is on the exact west border of this property he wants to buy. Our other farm is right on the other side of Potter Road. I cannot imagine what a eyesore, if you've seen its other place, looks like. It is the next thing worse to a dump. So I strongly oppose this and agree with everything else everybody says. So I hope you'll take not just the money, they're already giving revenue into the city with this old plant. And I have heard that there are noise restraints, noise problems. And I know they've been turned down by another farmer because he doesn't want this on his land. And that's a fact. And I don't think he would be a good neighbor because I've had experience with it. Thank you.
I'd like to address just a couple of things here, and then I'll let Joe talk about the flooding potential out there. So, Valley has a long history of industrial type developments coexisting with residential and commercial developments. Valmont and our current location is currently bordered by 4 different high-end lake developments that came after the fact. So they chose to build next to us after the fact. Valley Shores, Blue Water, Flatwater are almost all built out, so those were very successful. Currently, we've got Champion Shores under construction, which is, we share a fence line with them. Menards Manufacturing is also right across the street from Mallard Landing and a new mixed-use development that is currently underway. History has shown that those uses have coexisted and worked successfully in the past. And I'll let Joe address the funding concerns.
With that, there's no sand pit.
Joe Flaxford again, civil engineer. To address the comments about floodplain and runoff, the area is located in floodplain. FEMA has designated a shallow flooding area, I believe with a depth of 2 foot. So anything that the project would need to acquire a building permit for, we would need to raise that finished floor elevation up to 3 foot above the current grade. In order to do that, the city of Valley would have to approve of a floodplain development permit, and then additionally FEMA would have to approve of a letter of map revision based on fill to get these properties out of the floodplain for it to be constructible. So as far as the floodplain goes, there are requirements both locally and at the federal level that the project would need to comply with to be acceptable. Couple of items on runoff. When it comes to construction of the actual facility, they'll be required to get a grading permit both through, the local government as well as the state. So with that, there's at least those minimum 2 sets of eyes approving that. And in addition to that, both have requirements for routine inspections during construction. So my company would have site inspectors out here making sure that the proper erosion control and sediment control measures are in place and active throughout construction. And then Matt would be able to talk to it more, but for the ongoing operation of the facility, he would be under some type of, kind of permit, stormwater permitting permit with the state as well. So, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Patrick Sesher. I work for ENA Consulting Group. The thing I do want to speak on has to do with industrial stormwater. Their current existing plant does have an NPDES permit with the state of Nebraska. So the intention here is just to continue to roll that existing regulations, BMPs, all the various controls that we have in place, implement what they're doing at that plant and do that at the same plant. So that's all I got.
Hey, Lynn, we have a rule on how many family members can speak.
So anyway, Lynn Planbeck, 13515 North 240th. Thank you, Larry. I've got a different slant on this thing.
Good.
Everyone, you can't blame someone for wanting to try to increase their business and so on. But my whole thing is, this place is too small. It's too small. It needs to be bigger. He's got the whole thing filled full of warehouses and buildings and concrete. It's too small. It needs to go to a different location. There is different locations in this county. There's locations that have a lot of lands for sale. They have roads that aren't packed with trucks, hard surface roads, and they don't have houses and lots for sale and homes being built. One thing also, there's areas where there's a no flood zone, and flooding is a big thing down here. When the river goes out, 252nd Street becomes another river. So this place probably should have protection on the flood. And that's what I'm saying. Thanks.
Thank you.
Tim Nervig, 12414 North 264th Street. So this is going to be zone commercial?
Yes.
Okay, so according to AI, commercial zoning is for businesses that deal directly with the public, such as retail shops, restaurants, and offices. None of that's happening here. Industrial zoning is for heavy operations like manufacturing factories and warehouses that are closed to the public and produce noise, traffic, and waste. So this is clearly industrial.
Yes.
So,
I'm sorry, our regulations.
well, your regulations are wrong. Anyway, I also live in the floodplain. I got 3 foot in 2019, not in the house, but everything else. So every time you guys raise up all this land, it's getting deeper at my place. So at some point, you're gonna have to quit raising the land because there's gonna be a big lawsuit and it's gonna be looking at you when it floods a foot deeper or 6 inches deeper. I know it's hard to prove, but it's a fact. So that's all I gotta say.
Mark Locusa, 10250 Regency Circle, our firm's attorneys for the project. I do want to address zoning. The property is currently zoned as transitional agriculture, and this is not a request for rezoning. It doesn't require rezoning, only requires a conditional use permit. And I note that most of what we've talked about, most of what we've heard about here today, from dust, from flooding, from traffic, from light and noise, are all elements that have been identified by the city engineer that will need to be addressed in the conditional use permit, that will be addressed to the city when this takes the next step to city council.
Anybody else?
Good, sir.
Going once, going twice? Got one more lady.
Good afternoon. I've lived out here since I was 5. My name is Kip Ulrich. I live at 10520 North 246 Plaza.
Thank you.
And I've lived out here since I was 5 years old, and I've, in the last, 6 years, really seen this area develop, maybe 10 years, coming on. Valley was a blue ribbon school when I was growing up. It was because we were a tight community and we looked out for each other. I understand the revenue that could be lauded for this company is phenomenal. But is this the aesthetics that we want? With all this money coming into this town, look around, all the money, Blue Water. I mean, every day I look at this town and I say, can Valley, Nebraska handle the wealth that's coming in? Time will tell. There is wealth leaps and bounds. You sit at this ballpark and you watch all these high profile vehicles come and go, come and go. There's money coming into this town. And is this what we want aesthetically? We don't want it. We live out there. But that's something that we would choose to fight. But I appeal that concept is Valley is a beautiful place. And I understand business, but build it somewhere else.
Or buy his house.
No comment, please, from the.
That's all I got to say is I get the concept of the tax revenue. I get all of that. I get his point of view. But also you have your patrons who pay tax, who've been here for 50 years and have watched the development. It's a beautiful thing. There's a lot of money coming in. Let's handle it the right way.
Hey, Matt, have you thought about leaving the grading plans in place and just moving their office? I can speak to that.
Everett Cole, 106 East 3rd. And this guy's plan, and I'm not against it at all, or any of them. My concern is more about the planning board dealing with the roads going on 252nd, on Ida Street, on Loves. That is the biggest thing I see needs to be addressed.
That's county, Everett.
Is this really?
We have nothing to say outside our jurisdiction, outside our city limits.
What is your jurisdiction there?
Our city limits is where we.
But where is Ida Street in city limits?
Our jurisdiction is 1 mile from our city limits.
What is this?
But again, county owns the road.
So.
That's why we're here.
Oh, okay, well, apparently the county needs to fix their roads too. Them are terrible. I mean, the traffic, we're talking about this guy here getting a permit, and we're worried about giving her a permit, and it's a county road, so you have no control over that at all.
You need to all go to the county planning commission meeting.
No, but I just, why doesn't the city have some kind of control over that too? Because if you're worried about, these guys are worried about their communities, and you're putting this in there, but we haven't even addressed the road, and we can't address the road apparently. That
The county makes a recommendation.
almost doesn't make sense to make rules for other people that can't even be controlled by our community.
It's like state highways that belong to the state.
I understand that
County
part.
owns- The city has their own roads to handle.
So how do we make control, how do we control our lives that are like this?
You have to go to their meeting.
I understand that, but we're all making choices for growing our community without even fixing the infrastructure of the road that controls it.
Well, the county has input, as they mentioned, Potter Street.
Yeah.
That'll have to be paved, and Valley Fork will probably have to pay half of that. That sort of thing the county gets involved in. And they name the streets.
Perfect.
I mean, we've asked for.
Don't we have our only Potter Street over there?
We ask for traffic studies all the time, Everett, for every project around here.
But it just seems like it's
It
very,
doesn't meet the requirements yet. We don't have enough traffic for anybody. Okay, seems like we're having a lot of accidents.
Dollar General, how about out there?
Oh, that's a terrible intersection.
We all know sometimes the cities ask to do something with the state, and they,
I guess we have bigger problems than just the community.
well, you know, just grind away.
Yeah.
Thanks, Eric. One more? Any more? Okay, I'll close the public hearing. Oh, man, I'm sorry, Matt. Oh, we got one more.
Katie Carlson, 8445 52nd. I have farm animals. And the dust that's gonna be coming from that, isn't there a creek by there somewhere? Isn't there a creek kind of close? Won't that get polluted? And how about all the dust and all that coming through the air? And would you like to live next door to it? You know,
We've got the next block up or something, somewhere else.
well, but
There's other spots.
I don't want it for, and 252nd, you got Love's built there, so now I got all the semis going down, that's okay. Then the ball fields, and it's, on Saturdays, it's a pain to get through. Christmas, that's a whole new problem, because you can't get to 52nd Street, because there's mile-long, lights, which is great, and it's a wonderful place, I went through it. But I can't get to my house on 252nd. And I live on 252nd, so that's fun. So you just make sure you're home by 4:30 during the winter, while this is open. But what about my animals? What about the breathing it? I don't want to breathe that. I don't want dirt in the air all the time. I got gravel roads, that's enough dirt that comes down, that comes filtered through, I don't want grinding of rock all night. Are you open during the night?
No, our proposed hours are 7 to 5, Monday through Friday, and 7 to
At
3.
least it won't be at night and it won't be big lights going on all night.
I'll let Greg talk about the light spill requirements. Greg, you wanna talk
I'm
about
right
that?
here.
Greg's got the light
Speaking to
spill
me.
requirements.
Okay. All right, thank you.
And just to follow up on that, light spill is basically what we, during a site plan review, we'll have the applicant provide a light spill analysis. That's basically a fancy word to say, what is the light pollution from whatever lights they have on the site and how far do those cast? Fortunately, with technology now with the LED lights, those are very easily to control, to contain those with the, within the site, and make sure those aren't spilling to the adjacent properties nearby.
It'd be dark at our house, and then 5 miles away, and it's lit up by valley lights now.
Are we through with the one more?
Good afternoon. My name is Shelby Reynolds, 12303 North 264th Street. I've born, raised here, out in the country. My family is obviously farmers, know a lot of farmers, and it's been a beautiful, beautiful countryside. A couple things is, like someone else said, there's plenty of land for sale, especially directly to the east of his house. Would he want to put a plant there? Probably not, but it's okay to put it around other people's house. Just a thought. Also, the lake communities, Blue Water, all those communities, yeah, they were successful. Those people chose to live there next to those plants. We did not choose. We lived here first, and this is coming in second. So I'll just say thank you.
Any more?
Sorry, I just want to touch on one more thing, especially regarding sort of the controls to be expected on a plant like this. I don't know if I discussed that a little bit the first time, but on a site like this, typically the operator needs to water the aggregate piles. They need to use a water truck on a daily basis. Like I was indicating, they're going to pull a permit with the state of Nebraska, and as a result, when they pull the permit, they're going to have to implement a series of BMPs. Some of those BMPs also have to do with runoff and the pollution. So when they do get their permit with the state of Nebraska, they're going to have to do water quality sampling, and this sampling will also determine the type of pollutants that are getting into the water. Their current site, they're very compliant with the water quality sampling. They have a series of various best management practices, BMPs that they implement. They do a good job. We help regulate that for them. We try to comply with all the state regulations as it comes to pollution control. I know this is a topic that people are very aware of, and I just want to reiterate that there are going to be controls in place. People are going to try it, so that's all I got.
Can I make a second short comment?
What's that?
Can I make a second short comment?
Yes,
Please.
Yeah. Okay, again, I'm Jim Swoboda, 25850 State Street. I think one thing that was mentioned, but I don't know if it got kind of passed over, but it's great that they're projecting to bring in a lot of income with this business. But I think we also have to look at what's it going to do to devalue the area around it. If all of these homes are going in, I think it's going to be a lot less valuation on the properties that are sitting right next to a concrete grinding plant. So I think a lot of his projections for income for the city of Valley is going to be offset by the devaluation of property around it. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing. Any other discussion on the form? Any other discussion?
Matt? Any consideration, they were trying at the existing site only?
So,
Or is it sold?
yeah, so that's part of it. That's part of our issue is just we're out of room at that site for all of our operations. So, and plus all of our maintenance facilities, all those things, work together, having that next to that operation. So.
Anything else? Okay, I'd entertain a motion on this item.
And our motion is for a conditional use permit.
Right. Recommend city council.
Well, I'm gonna speak for a minute here, just on the opposite side. I understand exactly where you're all coming from. I deal with this all the time. But the first thing that comes to mind is Lanahaw. You got a huge landscape yard that does all kinds of landscape supplies, mulching, material. Anything you want to buy there, there's large trucks coming in and out. They're on one of the major thoroughfares in Omaha, surrounded by houses and high-dollar commercial properties. Mulhauls was the same way. When I moved to Valley, Mulhauls was the last business on the edge of Omaha, and it was 2-lane all the way to Valley. I think we moved here because we like the small town. We wanted to be that small town away from the big city. But unfortunately, in the last few years, our prices have been cheap enough that now the big city also wants to be a small town. And we're gonna get swallowed up. I hope you all understand that there's gonna be a day where 252nd is probably gonna be a 4-lane, and it's gonna be lined with commercial property on both sides, all the way to Highway 36. As Richmond Road, as 275 to Fremont, there will be a day, maybe not in our lifetime, but maybe our kids' lifetime, that Highway 275 will be commercial properties all the way to Fremont. And all that farm ground will be housing, all going on. And we're just gonna be like a little blip of Elkhorn going to Valley at that time. Progress is something that, just with the landscape yards, the one thing I do see is, all these, I believe we have over 15 to 20 landscape companies in Valley. that
This isn't.
they're gonna sell landscape material. Wait a minute, I'm sorry. I'm talking now.
This is not supposed to happen.
Stretch it on that. Have your chance.
See ya.
With that being said, I'm gonna make a motion to approve a conditional use permit for this site.
I'm going to second it. Any other discussion? John, voice vote. Yes.
Yeah, delete.
Larry,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Brian.
Yes.
Are you kidding?
What? You guys sold out, man. Sold yourself out.
Are you kidding?
Tickets.
Yay!
$10 million.
Motion carried.
Yeah.
You looked at that?
Yay, Jim, said no.
Thanks, Jim.
That's okay.
Yeah, Jim.
Carried, right?
Yes.
Motion carried. All right, item 8D, Valley Fork, MCL Bevington, consideration approval, application for preliminary plat. I'm opening the public hearing.
Joe Flaxbeard with Lampert Earson, 14710 West Dodge Road. Here on behalf of the applicant. I think we covered most of it in the last public hearing with the conditional use permit. But, you know, I got the comments from Greg Perry. We'll work with the city and staff on that as we progress through the final plat. And we're here to answer any additional questions that the board may have. Thanks.
All right. Any public comments? Oh, go ahead, Matt. Oh, you want to say? Are you going to talk?
You just let me know.
Any public comments on the preliminary plat? If not, I'll close the public hearing. Any more discussion from the board on the preliminary plat? If not, I'd ask for a motion.
Motion to approve.
That's Mark. Need a second? I'll second it. Okay, any other discussion? John, voice vote?
Kyle, Larry,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Danielle, Jeremy, Ray,
No.
Jim.
No.
Motion carried. Anything else, Gabe? For the cause?
I don't think so.
Motion to adjourn.
So we have a vote?
I'll second it. Yeah, we need to vote.
Yeah.
You know, pretty soon, you know, what's going to say? I don't know.
I take that pretty seriously. I can't do everything. You need something.
Same with us.
I cringe at people who are saying, I cringe at people going, oh, so you don't want something like that. I know. Crazy as they need this, right?
Hey, Mike. We don't start getting paid. We ain't coming. I mean, damn.